Perfect. Just whilst everyone gets mic'd up, the topic today is orchestrating efficiency and future-proofing automation. I think as we progress in this conversation, we'll see one thing's for sure, that all of these guys have very well-scaled and mature automation practices, but we're at a variety of different levels and stages in terms of how they've been working with C2. So we can certainly touch on that as well. The first thing is checking whether this seat takes over 120 kilograms, which I'm not sure if it does. But I'll hope it does. I'll hope it does. So I suppose to start off, if we can go through, if you could introduce yourselves, what your role is at your organisation, and how did you end up in the world of automation? John, would you like to go first?
Sure. So John Crennan, I'm with Xcel Energy, which is a public utility based in the United States. So I'm based in Denver, Colorado, but we serve 8 states kind of throughout the Midwest of our service territory. So I have been at Xcel for about 13 years, the last 7 or 8 of which have been in the automation space. Prior to that, I was an accountant, leading a variety of teams in the accounting space. And I basically got into automation because I saw how much work was very routine and predictable. And so led a pilot to bring on RPA. We do Blue Prism. And after a successful pilot, stood up kind of an enterprise process automation center of excellence that's based in the innovation office. So we serve all business units across the company and basically just kind of are automating the most high value work. And over time we've evolved beyond just RPA and have multiple different automation tools and techniques and platforms. And so C2 to help orchestrate that is great. And we're really excited about it. We're a brand new C2 customer, just completed a pilot over the course of the summer and are in the process of rolling it out today.
Perfect, thank you, John.
So nice. I'm Michele Di Palma and I work for BNL. I started work for BNL like 5 years ago, and I work in the automation field from 2017, I think. So it has been 7 years for now. And my role is the lead automation architect in my team, and occasionally I also do the technical PA. So we started with Blue Prism. BNL started with Blue Prism in 2017. Then after a couple of years, I joined in and I was the one in charge to migrate and integrate C2 in our ecosystems. So it was a very impactful change for us. Maybe we'll talk about it later. And then we transformed what was the robotic process automation to the hyper automation. So it has been a long journey for us.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Marina.
Yeah, hi, my name is Marina. I work for Allianz in Germany, so I'm based in Munich. And I joined Allianz 5 years ago and as a project lead. And my current task is the implementation of C2 in our team. So we have one tool currently in use, it's Blue Prism. And we are very excited to start now with C2, and I've had a lot of experiences from other clients today, and we are very, very excited to start now. And how I ended up in RPA, it's basically, I joined Allianz 5 years ago, but also prior to joining Allianz, I always worked in the RPA environment, so I think it's exciting to see how fast you can implement processes and automate them and get them to production. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you very much. Clive.
Clive Barnard, I work at TJX. Everyone will know that as TK Maxx and HomeSense. There's a good reason why it's funny named. I've been in the RPA space for 15 years now, started with Blue Prism. And when I saw Blue Prism, it was like, this is so easy. Really, I can see with the strength and benefit of it. I did a lot of other RPA tools, and I joined TJX 7 years ago now to lead the RPA space and the engineering community. So I'm now the manager of all the engineers who do the work. And saw C2 about 6 years ago and thought, actually, this is so much better than anything else Blue Prism has to offer on the scheduling side, particularly.
Yeah.
And we've been working closely with C2 and working through Blue Prism and making sure that we're developing the right way as much as we can with the tool.
Perfect. So we've got, I suppose, from TJX and BNP Paribas, or BNL's perspective,
Yes.
customers who have been using C2 for the best part of 5 years, and we've got John just rolled out a pilot, Marina just about to start from an Allianz point of view as well. But in terms of, if we take it back to when automation started, when the Centre of Excellence is spun up, what were the objectives? What pain were you looking to solve? And has that changed between then and now?
Sure. At Xcel, it was pretty narrow focus when we first started. It was like, I think we had a management consultant out after we had implemented SAP for enterprise ERP. And they were like, hey, check out this Blue Prism thing and give it a whirl and see if it's any good. And so basically we kind of did this pilot, and we're like, okay, well, I think that the benefit here would be implementing things in very high volume processes. Accounting processes are more on the monthly basis. So we thought, well, okay, we'll do it enterprise wide. But really our charter was, automate the most high hours you can find. Basically, look for those processes that are running all the time and implement task automation in order to just free up time for the business. And so over the years, we were successful in that space and have millions of hours processing every year. And we have since really evolved into application development and more of kind of that intelligent automation space, leveraging a variety of different tools, and really just we're constantly evolving our tech stack to be able to hit more types of processes. And and really over the last several years, we've really gotten into kind of the application development space. So, Roboyo talking about the bespoke applications being kind of the direction where things are going very much speaks to me, because that's where we're kind of headed.
Yeah, in BNL, we had pretty much the same experience. We started in the 2017 just to automate simple tasks, also because Blue Prism was not so evolved at the time. So we started just to create efficiency for the bank and to create FTE, working FTE with robots that will allow to relocate people to have more interesting tasks. That was the start. Then we tried to look at RPA in a different way. We changed our vision. So it was not the technology that was a transition technology. We started to look at the RPA as something that it's meant to stay in our systems. So it's not like a patch to do things fast. Because robots with the RPA can have a very, very, very fast time to market. So it's very appealing to the top management. But if you think about the RPA as a technology that is meant to stay, then you want to evolve it. And I think C2 came to us as an enabler to do that, because we introduced C2 around, I think, 2020, and we changed the way we developed software. So we completely changed our architecture, and now we have an architecture that has a lot of reusable components. So we are not going to automate a whole process in one step, but we are going to split that process in a lot of sub-processes that are reusable. So each of these processes will interact only with one system on one application. And that will guarantee us two things: the efficiency. Because when we are going to talk about a system, and we know that each system have different working hours. If we talk about the mainframe, we have an availability that is pretty much 24 hours every day. If we talk about a web application, maybe it's available from the 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if we are going to create a unique process, a robotic process for that, we are. It's mandatory to schedule that process in the smaller time interval. But if we split that process for each application system I'm interacting with, I'm able to schedule the whole automation in a more efficient way. So we are going to be more efficient and also more robust, because it's really important that if I have several processes that interact with only one application, if I have one incident of that application, I'm gonna turn off only that piece of process.
Yeah. I suppose similar in a way to how Homan showed
Yes.
in the digital twin example of microservices approach to development,
Yes.
and being able to swap components out, whether it's with another part of Blue Prism or whether it's with an AI agent, API, or anything else
Yeah.
as well.
So-
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Marina, from your perspective, and I know we've got lots of other guys from Allianz in the room, and it'll probably be interesting eventually to understand the structure of the organisation because I'm certainly still learning. I think everyone here is still learning, even the ones from Allianz. From Allianz Germany perspective, what was the reason this started? And are you delivering against those goals, and have those goals changed?
So at Allianz Germany, we started with RPA, I think in 2017, 2018, so quite a long time ago now. And I think the initial objective was to provide fast solutions to our clients, to deliver RPA solutions, to help them free up time and to have more quality of life maybe, to be able to concentrate on processes or on tasks that create value. And I think now it changes because we have a lot of technologies coming to markets. Of course, everybody talks about agentic AI, about different tools, and we started with only Blue Prism. And now I think the approach is changing. And also, like was mentioned before, also our own view on processes, I think will change with the introduction of C2. Because now we have one big process that is scheduled, and now with C2 it's easier to have smaller processes and to change the way we build processes.
Perfect. And Clive, from TJX perspective?
What is it about 2017? Because TJX started RPA in 2017. I don't know. It's interesting, TJX started in the finance area. They brought in a group of consultants, me being one of them, to do RPA because they had a vision that they had a load of processes that could be automated. And I think we'll probably find most areas with finance, that's probably one of the bigger areas. They spent 2 years with a consulting company delivering a really complicated process. Do not do that if you're starting. If you're starting RPA, do the easy one first. Do not do the complicated one. We got it delivered, we got it in. I joined, as I said, about 7 years ago. And so the whole aim has been federated model. We started off federated. The IT came later, supporting the platform, supporting everything. So we started federated, which was really made life easy for us. Rather than starting centrally and breaking out, we started with at least one arm. But what's changed over the period, I mean, it's the same, AI's come along, but Power Platform was a big thing. Microsoft released it, and the team that was meant to be looking after it said, we're closing it down. And our boss said, oh, we'll do it. It was horrible at the time, but we've got it running, we've got it matched, it's managed the same way as the Blue Prism stuff. So we took on a very...
So you've managed to control the uncontrollable?
Well, I'm not going to say that. We've managed to rein it in a little bit, is probably... So.
I think that's a common challenge. I dread to think how many people in this room, if you put your hands up, how many are looking at or using the Power Platform? How many have controlled it? Stopped it from spreading like wildfire? Not many, and I think that's quite a common challenge. And from an objective point of view, was it and is it still around time back to business efficiency, or are there other measures that you take into account at TJX?
The return on investment is a thing, but the big one is time back to business. We don't talk about FTEs or anything like that. We talk about freeing time up for people to do the work. And I think it's helped our adoption. I've worked in companies previously where they've talked about FTE and everyone goes, well, if you're reducing FTEs, what's going to happen to my department? Whereas we talk about, you don't have to do that boring job. One of the jobs they did, take a spreadsheet and put it into 7 different systems. And that's a boring job and everything. So we've taken that sort of work away from the departments that have taken us on. The only downside, I did have a comment back from one of the users that said, you've taken away my Friday because I used to relax by doing that work on a Friday and didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, well, it seems that time back and morale, quality of life is the most important. I think last year we had the guys at Zurich up here, wasn't it? And I think a lot of that was around SLA adherence, regulatory processes or customer-facing processes, time to market. Just a quick raise, whose automation initiatives here differ from a core objective not being time back to business, or is that? It's interesting. So still very much where we always have been from the beginning. That time saved is the critical measure from an automation initiative.
I'd say we measure time back to business, and that is very critical and historically was. But over the last several years, it really has evolved to dollar savings and measuring hard dollar savings, soft dollar savings, and capital versus O&M, what type of dollar savings as well. So it has evolved to a little bit more mature than it used to be, but the hours is still very relevant.
Perfect. Moving on, I suppose, more to the kind of the future, possibly the now. What's the vision for Agentic in your organisations? Is it something already spoken about? Is it something you are already doing? Is it something there's a hard stop on? But what's the view of Agentic and where is that going? And Marina, could we start with you, if you don't mind?
Yeah. So I think in Allianz, I'm not sure if there's a different strategy for you guys. So I think, of course, we are talking about it, and we are already looking at use cases and to get started and to check vendors and so on. So it's a very important topic right now.
Can I ask, are those use cases you're finding for Agentic new process areas, or are they add-ons to existing processes that may already be touched by RPA but now can be fully completed and executed with agents?
Not fully new processes.
Excellent. Clive?
We're looking, and we have an AI governance set up that everything needs to go through the AI governance board. We're looking mainly at co-pilots at the moment. So we're looking at what we can do quickly and easily to help answer FAQs and answer questions and things. That's our biggest focus. The hardest thing we're finding is calming the developers down who want to do a lot more because they haven't got the capacity and they haven't got the governance to say go ahead. So we're looking at it, but we're very small scale at the moment. But we are getting senior management going, so why aren't you using Agentic AI? Because it's not ready, is the answer.
Not asking for cost savings anymore, just asking for agents.
Oh yeah, they don't understand how much you'll
cost.
cost.
The priority now is agents.
Yeah.
Not the impact.
They've seen, all the consultants have come along and said this is the new world. And they've gone, oh good, and no one's gone, and how much will it cost? But,
Mikhail, I think in BNL it's a different situation.
Yeah. We are a little bit more conservative. We are a bank, so we are going slow and steady. We are studying it. It's not my team, the upper automation team. We have a different team that is studying the solution, but we are very conservative. We are just in a very early phase, but we are looking to introduce it for sure. So,
I think that's something that we come across. It probably started off with Microsoft, where Microsoft Centre of Excellence is often sat, on a completely other area of the business. And I see a couple of faces in the room where these are starting to merge closer and closer together, where, Microsoft and traditional RPA are now sitting side by side. From an agentic standpoint, if we're taking a automation COE, is Agentic sat with the COE itself, or does it sit with elsewhere in the business? Could we have a raise for if Agentic sits with the automation COE?
Half and half.
And I assume the rest, it's a separate team.
Yeah.
Reality. Interesting. John, from an Excel perspective, how does this set up?
Yep. So it's a separate team. So there's the fancy new tool that the CIO got very excited about and kind of took that. However, we are heavily on the Microsoft side. So Copilot is very commonly used. Everybody pretty much at the company has a license for Copilot. And then the creation of agents is similar to other Power Platform items, is somewhat rampant. So lots of people are using Copilot Studio to build agents for themselves. And I think that team is not quite thought through the governance around it yet. So they're working to kind of get that set up as well. But so our team, we leverage AI a good amount. I mean, our automations, we leverage Power Platform, and we actually use agents and that sort of thing as part of our automations. But we're more like super user customer versus owning that component of the business.
Yeah, perfect. I think what we've seen historically is when 12 months ago, everything was a platform approach. Most of the organizations we're speaking to are looking to consolidate vendors and have one platform to do everything. And I think going forwards now, it's almost the complete opposite. Everyone's coming to realization that now every single application that you have, let alone automation technology, is now an automation technology as well. So the ecosystem is now significantly larger than it was. Now everyone's an orchestrator, everyone does agents. The ecosystem's larger. I think what we've found, and now probably leading on to a few more, let's say, kind of self-centered C2 questions, a barrier to introducing more intelligent technologies and more technologies to manage anyway has been the burden of RPA in general. Very manually intensive from a human perspective, from a budgetary perspective. Things that we like to think that C2 solves as well. But John, from your point of view, when you started your C2 pilot, how did you approach that? What problems were you looking to solve, and what did we demonstrate in that very short period of time?
Yeah, so I entered about a year ago. I was trying to solve really kind of three things, really. We were looking at a renewal of our Blue Prism licenses about a year from now, so October 2026. And so I said, look, we're not getting the right level of utilization of our licenses that we should be. We're paying for more than we need. We tend to max out our license usage to the 43 that we have, but we're not getting the level of utilization on it. And I'm like, when we renew with Blue Prism, we should renew a lot fewer licenses and figure out how to orchestrate this better. And I've been tasking my team with that problem for years, and it just was a sticky thing, pretty hard to solve. So learning about C2, which was in April of this year, it was very exciting to see that, and probably it was a meeting that I'd had with Banner Health, which is another automation or another company in Colorado. And just it was great talking to them because they were actually really legitimately excited about C2, and the guy was just so pumped about this. And so I was like, well, that's more compelling to me than a sales guy telling me a product's great. So
Thanks, John.
Yeah. So that was really good. So I knew that this could potentially help with the solving of the licenses thing, and then just generally overall quality of the service that we're delivering to our customers. I wanted us to have higher adherence to SLAs and just automations breaking and actually fixing them right away. And so both those things seem pretty compelling. So yeah, over the course of the summer, was able to do a relatively quick pilot with you guys. I think it was maybe 2 weeks, and I was pleasantly surprised we were able to get it installed and running in that short period of time. And then we're able to see some of our automations, ones that have really high required service levels. We need to put a lot of licenses on them just to keep ensuring that things get processed within 15 minutes of the case coming in or something like that. And we're able to immediately kind of use kind of use C2 to orchestrate the running of those things and hit the same service levels with like under half the licenses. And so it's like, okay, this is going to make sense from just a.
Can I ask from a very pointed question here? When that date does come around, how many do you anticipate continuing with from a RPA license perspective?
It's a good question. So I would say initially we were anticipating we'll probably go down by less than half. Like we'll go from our current level to half that. But we keep getting more work pushed to us, and I think by being able to deliver on services, we might end up
grow into the capacity that
we might. We'll see. It's a little bit. We still have a year to kind of really dial it in and figure out. But if we do renew at the same level, it would be because we're processing 2 to 3x the amount of work with the same licenses versus versus just renewing, so we can hit the rather straightforward SLAs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I had a very similar experience license-wise, because we reached today an efficiency on 97%. We have around 8 Blue Prism licenses.
80.
80. And we started with like 120, something like that. Then we introduced the C2. And we saw that C2 is able, through his algorithm, to use the resources in a very efficient way. And I'm talking also about the HVDI, so the resource group, the credential, the licenses. So its algorithm helped us to really reduce a lot and be more efficient on the license side, also giving us an SLA adherence of 99% of every process.
So 97% utilization of RPA licenses, 99% SLA adherence. And I think the key thing for BNL as well is, reducing from 120 down to 80,
yes,
but accounting for 5 years of growth without an additional investment in infrastructure or licensing as well. So I think really helping to address the whole total cost of ownership challenge, that how can you access that tail end of automation of the smaller use cases as well.
Yes.
Perfect. Marina, with Allianz Germany, of course, you are, I think, deploying as we speak.
Yes.
Where do you think you'll end up? What are your objectives from deploying C2 in your automation environment?
Mm-hmm. So for us, our business case was based on license costs as well. So it's of course for us it's important to reduce license costs, because right now we don't have a real overview how many licenses we use, because in Blue Prism it's quite difficult to evaluate. And I think also if you look again at quality of life, I think our monitoring team struggles a lot with control room of Blue Prism, and of course C2 offers a lot of functionalities, and the way to think about scheduling is different. So hopefully that improves our way of monitoring.
And I suppose from your point of being an insurance organisation, are there any kind of core insurance processes that you that you automate with strict SLAs? I think last year you would have heard the likes of Zurich again speaking around first notification of loss or claims or new business quotes, and the impact on those kind of high value, very critical processes. Do you have any of those that you've already automated as well?
Yes, so we have critical processes, and of course it's always a struggle because we can't use, so our processes can run 20 hours a day, and of course nobody is here 20 hours a day from our monitoring team, so it's easier if you use C2 to automatically restart and take care of our processes.
Perfect. So move from, I suppose, eyes on glass to management by exception in that case. Yeah. And I think we've got a couple of minutes. Clive?
We haven't changed our licenses, but that was never the point of getting C2. The point of getting C2 was to help the support team and the delivery of the process to make it easier, and it's with the underperformance and stuff like that, and its restarting abilities and the management of the individual processes rather than a big, massive process. I nearly did it again. Because we found if you go with Blue Prism, you do the big process. If you go with C2, it's easier to build small processes and manage it via work queues, let alone the replaceability of those little modules. But just splitting it up means you don't build the overarching management of the process. It does it in C2 with tags, labels, whatever you want to do. So we got C2 because of the benefits of kicking off file management, now kicking off on Power Platform as well, which is still not available in the base Blue Prism product yet. So it's those things we gained. We weren't really looking at license saving, although when we move to our new infrastructure, we should be able to benefit from better usage, hopefully getting it close to 97%. That'd be excellent. And then we can look at, I think that's where we might see the use of licenses drop.
Yeah.
But ours was mainly helping support, helping deliver better, and helping get better MI from the processes. And we are getting that, so that's the main thing.
And I don't think that was ever in the business case. When people started automating, no one knew they had to hire an army to look after digital workers or automated processes. So it was always an unexpected cost. And I think on the efficiency topic, it's something we have questions with customers, partners, prospects all the time. Anyone can be more efficient, but how can you be more efficient and maintain or exceed service levels? And I think that's critically the thing that we're trying to solve. You can turn off your licenses, but will you still hit the SLA? And in this case, where we've got BNL, for example, running at 97% utilization, which is almost unheard of, not always recommended because there's a degree in risk in it, but it's 97% of productive work through event-driven orchestration, no wastage of resources, and having a microservices approach to development that allows you to adapt and react to workload coming in, to infrastructure being available or not, systems being up or down. How can we adapt to your business? Because schedules, defined workflows are static and rigid, and I'm pretty sure everyone's business in this room is not static and rigid. It needs to adapt, and it needs to be able to overcome these obstacles as well. Yeah. We have 5 minutes. Any questions for our panelists? And we do have a microphone at the back.
My question is for John. Obviously, you're sat up there, so I'm assuming the pilot went very well. Kind of how easy has it been to integrate with C2, with your kind of applications and everything like that?
The integration with Blue Prism and Power Platform. So far haven't run into any challenges at all. I mean, I've got the Blue Prism and Power Platform system admins on my team. And so we were able to, basically get this temporary trial license of C2, and within a few days, working with the tech team with C2 and my sysadmins, and they were able to do it in a matter of a couple days. So we were able to prove that we could take. We chose 5 processes that we wanted to see that we thought would be pretty tricky that were consuming a lot of licenses, and we thought it'd be kind of tricky for C2 to handle. Yeah. And so really, right away we were able to get it hooked into our Blue Prism and show that we were able to cut license usage on those ones by over 50% on all of them.
On that though, I don't think we've worked with a team who had so much access to everything that was needed in order to set C2 up. So I think it was it Tristan on your team who was the admin for everything, who could make those changes. So that's a challenge we come across. If you want to integrate these tools, you might have a data gateway or something that comes between Blue Prism and Microsoft. We need the ability to restart virtual machines, for example, all of these things. So there's a procedure we need to go through, as with anything. But in John's case, I think it was smoother than most, actually, from that point of view. Any other questions? Who's that? Eric.
I think it was more like the technical setup, so I don't know who I'm speaking to now. Yeah, the technical setup. But I think Ollie just kind of answered that. If you've got a guy doing everything, that does always help.
Yeah, it was pretty smooth in that perspective.
And anything else? Perfect. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.